Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Truth About Marketing. I have a good friend, Chloe Cleveland, here. She's the partnership manager at State 48. Chloe, thank you for joining me.
Of course. Thanks for having me on. I'm excited.
Absolutely, absolutely. A lot of fun. We have a lot of good conversations on here. I'm excited to get another live local Arizona business here to talk about and tell your story. But we always start with our lightning round, all right? So it's like 7, 8 questions. We just shoot it from the hip, honest answers, no right or wrong. We'll start with that, all right?
Okay, sounds good.
All right, cool. So first one, favorite business or marketing technology?
Okay, right now I have to go chat GPT. I'm falling into it.
I think everybody's loving it right now. Favorite social channel?
Social channel, I'm an Instagram girl. That and LinkedIn. I'll give LinkedIn runner up.
Right on. I haven't heard that in a while, so that's a good one. Least favorite social channel?
Gosh, I never use Facebook. I'll admit that. And I love watching TikToks. I don't like making them in the app. So
Very good.
say
Very
those.
good. All right, a brand that you love.
There are a lot of brands I love. I think I take like inspiration from some specific brands. So, like the Mayfair Group, Los Sundays Tequila, Devereaux Golf, Elwood, Skatey is like a swimwear brand. So, those are all different brands that I love.
Very good. Very good. And a brand that needs help.
Oh my gosh, you're throwing me under the bus with that.
Sometimes it's one that just they don't have a lot of attention or people don't know about them. They just need more visibility.
Gosh, I mean, every brand, like our brand needs help. We all need help, but let's go with like Shein. They're
Okay.
kind
Yep. Fair
of
enough. Fair
help.
enough. Favorite influencer business leader?
Okay, I'm gonna go with, I think this is an influencer and also has a lot of business to it. Probably Jay Shetty. Like, I love how he talks a lot about mindset, personality, self care, but also about business. Joe Dispenza is another good one I really like. Kendall Jenner, like, all of those are ones that speak to me personally.
Very good. And then brand or person you'd like to work with the most?
So, knowing like that I work at State 48, I would say like one of our biggest targets is to work directly with the Waste Management Phoenix Open. So, that is our goal for 2026.
Very good. Well, we have some people that we know in the Thunderverse, so maybe we can make something happen.
Right on. We love that.
Very good. Very good. Well, awesome. Thank you for that. Why don't we start out with just give us a little bit about yourself? Tell us kind of, your background and how you got to where you are today.
Totally. So I am born and raised here in Arizona. I am currently 27, almost 28 years old. I went to high school in Gilbert. I went to Arizona State University after that and studied business marketing. While I was going to ASU, I took a job with the Arizona Diamondbacks. So I applied for this job. It used to, I don't know what it's called now, but it used to be called a rally back. So it was the girls and guys who throw out t-shirts at the
Yes.
games and run like the in-game promos. I applied for that job during college and there was like 400 people at this job interview. It was actually really crazy, but I was one of the 20 something that got selected for the job. So I was so excited. I've been a baseball fan my whole life. Diamondbacks are my favorite sports team ever.
Very
Um,
good.
when I got that job, actually, State 48 at the time had a corporate partnership with the Arizona Diamondbacks where they were the ones who were providing all of us girls to wear their t shirts during Diamondbacks games. And I had never heard of State 48 before. I had no idea what it was. I think they were only in business for like 4 or 5 years at that time. So it was still a pretty new brand, but I loved the shirts. I thought everything was super cool how they made them Arizona inspired, but also just had like traditional Diamondbacks branding on them. So I immediately became a fan throughout this season, right? We are getting to know the team at State 48. Mike, Nicholas, and Stefan are the three co founders. So at the time, like those were the guys kind of helping us learn how to rep their brand while we were at the games and teach us more about their brand. So that is how I was introduced to State 48. Flash forward, the season ends, and I ended up reaching out to State 48 on Instagram, just thanking them for providing us with really great shirts and saying, I really love your guys' stuff. And hey, now that the season's over, I don't have a job. So I was like, if you guys have anything you need help with, like I'm studying marketing, I would love to work with you guys or help out wherever I can. Right. So they replied and actually were like, sure, So they had me come down and do a photo shoot with them at the Churchill. It's one of our storefront locations.
We're an
I did,
investor in the Churchills.
yeah, awesome. It's
Yeah,
such a cool spot. Like it is
very
so
cool.
out.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that was where I first like got to do a photo shoot with them, and I liked that so much and thought their stuff was even cooler, had fun with the team, the photographer. So after that even I'm like, well, who works in your store here? Or like what's going on? So they then ended up giving me a job to work retail for them throughout the rest of college, and I just kind of have progressed with them ever since that. But that's like the initial intro of how I started working here at State 48.
Very cool. Yeah, we have some super interesting stories again. I mean, I myself had one from college, just like reaching out to random people, like, hey, looking for work, like whatever. And it's crazy how much that happens, right? Where like it's just a matter of right thing, right time, like whatever. But if you never reached out, you would have never had a job. So awesome
Totally.
on the initiative there.
Yeah, well, thank you.
We kind of tell everybody that watches, it's like, man, just shoot your shot. You know what I mean? There's a funny video. I think it was Gary Vee talking to some guy, and he's like, man, I've applied to so many jobs and I just can't find work. And he's like, how many did you apply to? He's like, at least 20. And he's like, 20? He's like, brother, you need like 20 a day.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's super interesting how that works out. But why don't you tell us a little bit more about like the State 48 brand itself and kind of what it embodies and what it's all about? Because obviously, I mean, people outside of Arizona may not know it. So there are people watching that are from outside.
I mean, so Arizona is the 48th state. So for anyone watching, if you're from here, if you're not from here, that's like the most popular question we actually get at the Churchill, because the Churchill is so close to the Phoenix airport that we get so many people from out of town just jumping in there. So everyone's like, I don't get it. What is this? So we have to explain like Arizona is the 48th state. So that is ultimately where our business comes from, right? And so our CEO, Mike, always says it. He is passionate about Arizona and passionate about fashion at the same time. So he noticed years ago that like there was a gap where there was nothing really cool merchandise wise to represent Arizona. So that's why him, Nicholas, and Stefan started the brand. Stefan came up with the name. Mike kind of had that fashion drive in him. And then Nicholas is our creative director, so he designed the logo. So after I like came on, I mean, I learned all about State 48. So what we really are is a one-stop shop for all apparel and design in Arizona. So I would say too, like even when the brand first started, that wasn't even necessarily the case. It was more just Arizona inspired clothing, maybe even just t-shirts, right? That's really where we began. But now today we've evolved into being a place that people can come for custom screen printing, custom embroidery, custom designs, as well as like co-branded collaboration designs with us on top of also selling our own retail merchandise that ranges from shirts, outerwear, accessories, all sorts of different things.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I remember, I mean, I grew up in the Bay Area, but we had like NorCal was like a big
Yeah.
clothing brand. It's all things Northern California, right? And I don't even know if it's still going today, but I think that's one of the impressive things for State 48 is as long as I've been here, I've been here for over 8 years now. Like I've always known who it is again because I first saw it at the Churchill. I don't know, 5, 6 years ago. But it's always been there. And it's always been a presence again, whether you're at a Diamondbacks game or you're seeing people walking around Old Town, whatever it is. Like it's a very popular brand. So very cool. Do you, I mean, again, you were back with them in the early days. Talk a little bit about what it was like getting something that's so unique again, because a lot of people do apparel, they do hats, they do, again, it could be sports, it could be anything really, but being a brand that's so unique to the state of Arizona, like what's that been like on the marketing front and growing that business?
Yeah, I mean, I did come in pretty early, and so once I finished college, right, I had a job offer from the Diamondbacks, and I had a job offer here from State 48, right, to just stay there and keep growing on the business and operation side. And I did go that route just because I loved it here so much. I thought long term in my life, hey, what do I think is going to make me happier? Where am I going to learn more, grow more? And this was like a clear decision. So I will say, like, I got to learn so much about marketing, how to market a brand. Cause at the time, like, you could be 5 years into something and it's still the very beginning, right? Like, we're 12 years in now and we still say, like, we are just getting started. So at the time, I was helping with everything on the marketing side because I think our team was 5 employees total. So everyone was wearing a ton of different hats. So Mike actually really taught me everything, right? I worked right alongside him. We had a folding table in the back of our retail store. That was our desk in our office. So that's where I learned it all. But it was interesting to learn from him, like all about finances, social media, fulfillment, partnerships. So I would say on the marketing side, like the biggest thing we worked on was email marketing. That was just the biggest way to market back then. I feel like social media wasn't even that giant, or like you couldn't run ads. TikTok wasn't a thing yet. Like there's so many things that we just had to manually do. So we did so much email marketing for the brand. We really established a good presence on social media by like deciding different things to post, working with our creative team to create good graphics to post. Like all of that was things that we were working on while we were just starting to build 5 years ago.
Yeah. 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 So that being said, right? I mean, everything's evolving super quick. I know I went to University of Arizona, so I'm on the opposite side of you. But
Okay, yeah.
yeah. But like when I was in school, right, a long time ago, there was things that we were learning, right, in comms classes, which is what my degree was in, that like literally have zero help whatsoever today, right? Like when I was in college, Facebook was like just really blowing up. Their Instagram had like just been launched. It wasn't even really a thing. So, as we evolve, and like obviously like now AI is huge, and you talked about Chat GPT, like what are some of the things that you guys are seeing that even again 5 years ago, 10 years ago that like you weren't using, and now all of a sudden it's become like a day to day, especially for an apparel brand, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think what our biggest like focus and goal is right now on the marketing and social side, at least what I love. Like showing the people behind the brand. That's been something that I think we didn't used to do as much just because there wasn't a ton of people behind the brand, right? You could throw something up on your story, but none of us knew how the hell to edit a video or like make something actually cool and flow that you would be proud to post. So now we've got people on the team, obviously, that know how to do that. So I would say, like, the biggest marketing thing that we love to do right now is tell a story through our actual team. Like, hey, who made this design and why? And why did you design it that way? Or, we'll throw up reels where you're asking the team funny questions like, who on the team does this the most? Or, just silly stuff, right? To where you don't just see Chloe sitting at her desk working on something, you get to see like who I actually am as a person and everyone else on the team. So showing the human side of everyone is what we've seen great success in when it does come to marketing, because people then feel like they know you, they feel like they're a part of something, and that's really what marketing is, not just pushing your product, but making people believe in your brand and become a brand ambassador for you.
Sure. I mean, I think that's I own my own marketing agency, and so like working with a lot of our clients, it's like I try to tell them all the time, like you these days, like you become your brand, like, and
Mhm.
I'm not saying that you have to be like the best on camera, be giving interviews and all this kind of stuff, but you better have a damn good story to tell, because that's how people invest these days, or that's how they
Right.
purchase things, is because they connect with the owner or the salesperson or the director. Or, again, it could be you, right? People will be like, oh my God, I love Chloe. She's so sweet. Like, been at the golf tournaments, blah, blah, blah. I love State 40 now because of her. But like, you have to put yourself out there and be available. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like it used to be where you could just sit behind a computer and like be anonymous and people would still flock to buy your stuff. Like, there
Totally.
really is this human connection element that's going on these days.
Percent. I mean, I feel like even speaking for our team, like people in the past would be like, "Oh, there's no way I'm getting on camera. There's no way I'm doing that. Like, no, I'm not good at it." And like they do it once or twice and you're like, "Wait, you're so good at it. What are you talking about?" And now they look forward to it. So, it's really less scary than you think. I mean, obviously we all know some people are just more outgoing than others, right? But having such a good environment here at State 48 and like the friendly family type of team we have, I feel like everyone's comfortable and excited to like show off themselves when we know it's going to a community that we love.
Right, right. And I think it's important too. I mean, obviously people get nerves, they get stage fright, but like understanding that like almost some of the time that's what people like, is the authenticity. That like you're just like me, like you seem nervous in front of camera, or you don't necessarily, what I mean, to whoever it is,
Yeah.
like that's important because it humanizes people. Again, it's the idea that like you're human too. And
Yeah.
so I think that works a lot with brands, and it's again worked a lot in marketing. One of the things that I'm curious about with you guys and kind of how you approach it though is from a competitive standpoint, because you're in Arizona and there's really not a lot of, again, like you said, Arizona native brands, if you will. Who do you guys see as your competition, or how do you differentiate to say, hey, this is why you should be involved with State 48? This is why you should look into, whether it's working with us, partnering with us, buying from us, whatever it might be.
Yeah. I think the most important thing that gives us value is like our entire team truly does care about what we're working on. And I mean, I know anyone can say that, right? So that's not necessarily like a mind blowing thing to say. But we do have like different competitors in the retail industry of people who are constantly making gear, whether it's like technically Arizona inspired or just desert or fashion or t-shirt or apparel company is competition for us, right? You're wanting people to wear State 48 even over name brands that you see all over the world. Um, but I think that because we do a great job of throwing that human side into everything we do, whether it's on our B2B side of things or our retail side, it does make people want to work with us more than just your average company where they have no idea who opened it. We do a good job to communicate that to people, to show people. And I feel like another thing that helps is like we really are out there in the community. Like we have a nonprofit, we partner with so many over 1,000 different businesses in Arizona we've partnered directly with. So people know who they're buying from when they're buying from State 48, right? They know Chloe, they know Sam, they know Mike, they know Nick, like they know our names in the state. So
Mm,
I think it helps people feel good when they're like, I'm supporting so and so's
right.
business.
Well, something too and I was going to touch on that, is the fact that, some people just sponsor and they just throw money at things. I was just going to say, every time that I've seen State 48 in and around, it's people, it's you, it's one of the co-founders, it's people that are there in person and super passionate, right? And that really like translates over to the brand because, and I would love for you to talk a little bit more about that, because obviously you're partnership manager, but it's strategic partnerships. You're not just doing anything and everything that someone asks you to do, right? So how do you go about deciding, hey, does this match our brand? Is this who we're trying to portray? Because again, it's easy. There's a lot of charity golf tournaments, charity dinners, charity benefits, but like, how do you guys choose or decide who that is that you work?
Yeah. I mean, I will say, like, when it comes to our co branding and partnerships, what a partnership with State 48 is, right? Is we create different designs for different businesses across all of Arizona. So, whether you're up north in Flagstaff, you're in Tucson, you're here in the Valley, like, we work with whoever. We take branding from their business and use it to create them an Arizona inspired design that goes onto t shirts and other products. So when it does come to that, like we really are open to partnering with anybody that wants to work with us. The only people we don't partner with, I will say, are anyone who uses State 48 in their brand name. We were the
Uh,
first. We want to eliminate confusion. So if they're another State 48 something, we do not
Fair
work with.
enough.
But I mean, we partner with everyone from like construction companies, nonprofits, restaurants, hotels, like there's so many different types of businesses that have just found genuine value in working with us. So I will admit, like, we really aren't necessarily picky about who we're working with. But I think what I will say on that note is like the partnerships where we are working with like minded people that see a bigger impact than just t-shirts are the partnerships that turn into so much more and end up growing into exactly what I just said, more than t-shirts. Then we're giving back to PCH, or we're doing pop-up events with Gila River Casino.
Very good. And you guys just finished that, wrapped that event this last weekend. So talk a little bit about that and how that event came to fruition. Because had multiple friends that went. I wasn't available, unfortunately, but hopefully I can go next year. So yeah, talk a little bit about that and what that event's all about.
Yeah, so we had it's called the Bet on Arizona Charity Casino Night. This was the fifth year we did it. Fun fact, the first time we did it, we actually did it here in our office. That's how little it was. So now this past year, we were able to host it at the Player 15 Group headquarters, which is the Phoenix Suns office in downtown Phoenix. So this was definitely like, it's a kind of a full circle moment, right? You're like, we used to have it in this office and now we're here at the Suns office. That's insane. There was like 300 people there, but That is all for the nonprofit side of State 48. So it's called the State 48 Foundation. So it started in 2020. And, the guys who started State 48, right, they were local entrepreneurs. I mean, they still are. So they're passionate about helping out other people who are aspiring to be entrepreneurs and are also here in Arizona. So the mission of our foundation is to fuel Arizona dreams, drive local prosperity through entrepreneurship. One thing we do to do that, right, is give out grants every year to people who have small businesses or are trying to start a business. And this past weekend at the charity casino night, all the money that we raised goes directly back to the.
Very good. Very good. And I'm assuming, I mean, this is your kind of sponsored event, but do you guys do other events, or what else kind of throughout the year is State 48 doing? I mean, again, you said you partner with people, but are there any like proprietary events or anything else that you guys do specifically?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. Like it varies every year, right? It just kind of depends on like what's going on, what's in the calendar. And we're open to anything. So when a partner reaches out about something, I know you've brought up like the tournaments that we do. We work with like MDA, the nonprofit. We're always at their golf tournament. Backfit, what we do there is super fun. We set up on a hole, we give out t-shirts. Usually it's t-shirts that they worked with us on for the golf tournament.
Yeah,
Sun Valley Construction. We're at their golf tournament. So we give out the shirts. We bring our DJ. We let people pick walk up songs on the hole for when they're teeing off. Like it's such
very
a good
good.
time. And I mean, something like that, right? It has nothing to do with shirts, but it's just a great way for me to get to talk and meet other people in the business world and see how we can work together. So that's a great example. We have tons of other events for our nonprofit. So we put on a speaker series every year, which is a 4-week series where we're just talking about business with people. And we invite different panelists to join that and help entrepreneurs gain insight to what they do. We put on other events for our foundation, right, that are called Beyond Business events. And then just again, like on the for-profit side, we're always doing pop-ups, whether it's with local artists, whether we're at NASCAR or the Arizona Super Show, or there's so many different things that we try to make sure we hit each year so that we're involved in the community as much as possible.
Awesome. So we talk a lot about like good things and positives, but we also try to like educate and teach people some things. So like what are some lessons, or like what are some things that over the course of this time that maybe didn't go so well, right? Like we've all had campaigns. I've had things that learned a lot from, like, hey, don't do this. But I'd be curious, as again, small business and you guys bootstrapped, and obviously it's beyond impressive, but there was no way you did it without some learning curve along the way. So I'd be curious of what a couple of those things might be.
100%. I mean, I'm sure that Mike, Nicholas, and Stefan would have so much more to say about that, being that they are the ones that actually founded and started the business. And, I feel like they might even have, I mean, at least I know I do, that feeling where you're like, even though these things went wrong, really nothing went wrong because it ended up leading us to this or it moved us here. Like, I'll say that about the job thing with the Diamondbacks, right? Like, I had this job offer for the Diamondbacks, but it was also COVID that year. So it's 2020. And even though I still kind of had like a choice of did I want to wait and take this job with them, like I really knew, hey, this probably isn't going to work out super well. So I went the other route when like my whole life I dreamed to work for a pro baseball team. So did I get that? No, but I got something else that's more than I could have ever dreamed. And even on the State 48 side, like things I would say that maybe didn't go so well, there's nothing I can think of that is like jumping out at me. But what I will say is one thing we learned along the way is that like being collaborative with your team always is so much better. So thinking back to maybe times when we necessarily weren't like the best at communicating, we had to learn that. Or were we like getting mad at each other, getting mad at petty things? Sure, we had to learn how to work together and having to learn what everyone's different style is and just different things like that. So I would say like working as a team is something we've definitely learned along the way that maybe initially we didn't have such a stronghold on just because we were a small team, people are working from home, but now we've got like a really solid squad that is all really good friends with each other, and that is just something that we built through having to learn how to build it.
And I think that's something I've had the discussion a few times on here before, is about the idea of working with people that you end up becoming friends with, or that maybe they are friends from the beginning that you're working with, right? And I always have been on the side of, I think it's way better to do that, because when you form that bond when you actually like care about the other people, like you end up running through a wall for them because you don't want to disappoint them. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to upset them. I don't want to betray their trust. I don't want to. I'm trying to do everything in the best interest of them and the business, right? Whereas some people are like, oh no, don't do business with friends. But most of my friends, the people that I would work with, they would have my best interest at heart. So like I wouldn't ever be worried about doing that. You know what I mean? And I feel like State 48 kind of has that family vibe of where like that's the same thing that you guys have going on there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a risk, right? It's scary. It could go either way. But we've always done a good job of like just truly caring about each other, like you said. And that doesn't come just naturally. It doesn't happen overnight, right? It takes work to get to know your coworkers. And one thing I will say that I like greatly appreciate is our CEO, Mike, actually is like hard on the team about that, right? Like if we ever have someone new coming in, he's like, go talk to them, go get to know them. That way, I'm not just Chloe, your coworker, emailing you asking for something. It's like, oh, hey, I know her. I'm going to help her out. And same thing, like the you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours type of vibe. Like we got to all work together. And the best way to do that is because we actually care about each other.
What I think that shows through just its culture in general, right? I mean, I came from Silicon Valley, so they talk a lot about culture and all that kind of stuff. But it really is, in my opinion, it shines through the brand because when you talk about culture from top to bottom, it's like you shouldn't have somebody like yourself who's so passionate about what you do, came in from college, you've been there the whole time, and just crushing on the partnership side, but then over on the sales side or the customer service side, like there's people who are grumpy and not treating the customers well. Like it's not a good reflection on you, right? So it's really important that from top to bottom that culture is aligned. It's like, hey, we're going to treat everybody like this, we're going to treat everybody like family, and here's what's expected of you. So it sounds like, again, Mike's a very good kind of proponent or advocate of that.
He totally is. And I mean, even you talking now, that like brings something else to my mind, right? Is like you can look at different job openings on LinkedIn all day long or on whatever website you look at, right? And they are always listing so many different benefits for the job. And I'm not talking poorly of these jobs, but I'm just saying, say we've got half day Fridays, we cater this on this day, we are going
Free
to,
lunch. Yeah.
yeah, we're going to Cabo this year. Like all of those things to me does not equal culture because it's like, why would I want to go do that with a ton of people I don't even know or like anyway, right? I would way rather know what show my coworker is watching and have come and excited to talk about it in the office on a Monday. Like that to me is far more of a culture than perks that might be really cool, flashy, monetary. Like I would rather just have that genuine human culture that we really do have here at State 48.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes a ton of sense. And then, again, we talk about kind of how your culture and who the company is bleeds into, externally what it is as well. So talk a little bit about, I mean, how do you guys go about right now? You talked about early on that you marketed through email, but obviously there's partnerships, there's social media, but what do you guys really kind of emphasize? I mean, again, I've seen a lot of the State 48 stuff is it's very passionate, very, culturally Arizona. But would you say, there's more humor side to it? Is it more authenticity? Like, what do you guys really lean into from a marketing perspective?
Yeah, I mean, both humor and authenticity are things we hold highly here and try to make happen in all of our content. But I'll say, like, on the partnership side, authenticity is a big one and genuinely like showing our partners we care about them. So, about like 2, 3 years ago, I started making these different reels for Instagram that just talked about our collab process. So, they were super boring when I first started them. It was just me sitting right here talking to you. And then, like, you learn quickly, hey, people don't watch that. Like, that's not attention grabbing. It's not the best marketing, right? So, over time, I started playing with editing software, learning a little bit more about how to make a decent video. And what it turned into was we had this idea of like, hey, why don't I actually go to our partner's business? We have their team or whoever is in the video wearing the t shirt. So we're showing our collab process, we're marketing our process at the same time, but we're also marketing our partner. Like I'm showing what this construction company does or this restaurant and where it's located or what service these people provide. Like there's so many partners, there's such a variety that we've been able to bring awareness to and show. And I think that is an amazing marketing play. Like even Instagram has caught on to it, right? How now you can do collaborator posts. So multiple businesses, multiple people. Like we found that to be a really unique and different way to market is by marketing our product at the same time we're marketing you guys. So it just helps other people get on board and be like, hell yeah, we want to be a part of that because it's also helping them out.
Yeah, and I think that's something that for a long time went undervalued, right? And this whole kind of idea of a rising tide raises all boats. And so, listen, if we're going to do business together, a part of like the value that we'll bring to you is, hey, we have X amount of followers or this strong community. Us doing this video or us showcasing who you are and what you do is only going to benefit you also, right? So, I think that's become a huge and also underrated thing that, if you're a company that's getting off the ground or you're kind of smaller, and you need that support and maybe you don't have the marketing dollars or the advertising dollars, doing partnerships and collaborating with other people, again, if it's no real skin off your back and it's on brand for you, nobody's saying to like bastardize your brand and like, forfeit who you are, but there should very much be like this kind of openness to working with others. I think that's huge in marketing today.
Totally. It's really honestly too like fun. Like I've learned so much about different industries and things I would never know about if I was not in partnerships. And like one thing I'll say about that is I love people. I love to work with people. So I mean, I get, right? It's not for everyone. Like not everyone is into that and into this type of marketing. So I think one thing that's given our team, our brand as a whole, and even myself personally, such good success with this type of marketing is like, I do actually love it. I do actually care. Like, I want it to turn out good. I want people to feel good about the way we're showcasing their brand. I want to showcase our brand in the best way possible. Like, the brand's become a part of me. And like, I think at the end of the day, to make your marketing the most successful and efficient or, whatever you want to call it, effective, is that you have to actually care about the message that you are marketing.
Yeah, and you could totally tell when somebody's into it or not. I mean, there's some people that have the job, and I get it, you got to pay the bills, but it makes it so much more influential when that person, like you said, and we keep saying it, kind of beating a drum here, but it's the idea that you actually care, right? And unfortunately, in this day and age, you can really tell when people are just checked out or they're just doing it for a paycheck. And again, I think those are the brands. It's kind of like we talk about it with like celebrities or influencer marketing, right? It's like when you see somebody that and it's hashtag ad, they're
Mhm.
getting paid, they don't really care, so it doesn't do a whole lot for me. And that was the difference between like a macro influencer and a micro influencer, right? It was the idea that you're like, listen, this person right here only has 1,000 followers, but 800 of them literally watch their stuff every day and will do whatever they say. Whereas this person over here has 100,000, but it's a bunch of strangers and their content's constantly ads that they really don't care about. You know what I mean?
It's so funny you say that because I'm the way where I'm like, if I see the hashtag ad, I won't buy it because I'm literally like, do you actually like this? Whereas
I
if
don't
you,
do yeah, I don't do that. Or I'm also the same person on Google when you search and it says sponsored, sponsored, sponsored. I just scroll right past it regardless. And I'm like, I know that they're paying for this. So what did the real people say?
exactly. No, it's so true.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, and that's the other thing too. I think we've been conditioned now. Like people have learned kind of, the ins and outs or intricacies of marketing and advertising. Especially if you work in it, you can see right through it. You know what I mean? There's a lot of very funny kind of like memes, reels, whatever out there about being able to decipher what's an ad and what's real content now. So super interesting. Well, what's on the horizon now for you guys? So State 48 continuing to grow. You're obviously still crushing partnerships, doing more by the day. So what's your plan there?
Yeah. So exciting stuff happening over here. Like we kind of just revamped our structure of how partnerships is working. So we're still introducing everyone to that, but myself and another guy on our team named Sam are kind of taking over all of partnerships. So I used to just focus on the collaboration side of things. Now I'm going to help out also with custom design, wholesaling, custom screen printing. So those are all like different things we offer here. So it's really kind of us expanding into just this role of letting people know everything we can do rather than just like focusing on one lane. Our biggest thing right now is just trying to get the word out about our B2B services. So we do a lot of stuff on the retail side. That's mainly how people know us, right? That's like our bread and butter. But we do also offer these other services. So it's like the collaboration thing I briefly talked about, where we work specifically with the brand. We make them a design that's Arizona inspired. And these designs people use as uniforms for their team, gifts for clients, for specific events, fundraisers. Like the possibilities are endless there. So we're constantly trying to up the volume of those. But biggest thing right now too is just like educating people on our custom printing, custom design, and custom embroidery. So custom printing and embroidery is like, hey, it doesn't have to be co-branded with State 48. Like, I'm just going to make you a t-shirt for Walmart. It doesn't have to be State 48 and Walmart, where we are working on that right now though. But so we want people to know, like, mostly, you know, our partners we work with now, we want them to come to us for everything. So that's like our biggest goal that, I would say is on the horizon, is like us be their one-stop shop for apparel and design. So that's kind of the message we're pushing there. And then same thing with the custom design, right? It's different than a collaboration. So if you guys want me to just make a design for you that has nothing to do with State 48, but maybe you need a new logo or you want something specific for something else, like, we're offering that now as well.
Interesting. Okay. So you got kind of also just straight up kind of white labeled services of branding and
Exactly.
design, right?
Yes, exactly. And, that came about just because we did have partners who made a collab with us. And then we're also like, hey, well, since you can design this, can you also design that? And we're like, yeah, yeah. So
Why not?
then
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah, for sure.
like, let's
For
start
sure.
offering that too. And then the ideal process, right, is like someone comes to us and, maybe we make them their logo and then they end up doing an order of shirts with us with their logo. And then they gain so much more awareness that they want a collab design at that point. So it's just like this system that never ends of us helping them with everything they need apparel wise.
Okay. And then so when that kind of life cycle management happens, right? So you get the person in. I mean, is it something where you're competing with like other shops in town who just do that? Because again, there's a lot of shops in town. I mean, I could throw out names, but there's no point in giving them plugs. So the idea being, there is a lot of others in town. So the competition on that side is more like, hey, you trust us. We've done good business. Let's keep this relationship. Don't bother going somewhere else. I mean, kind of what's that life cycle management look like?
Yeah, no, I mean, you nailed it, right? So like people know it's this is what we're really, like I said, kind of, trying to preach the word about, is that we do this because we can work with Massage Envy, right? Popular company. They do a collab design with us, but where are they getting their polos that their workers wear every single day? We're trying to educate them like, hey, we do this too, so now they're working with us on other things. So we are competing with so many other like printer embroidery shops. There's tons in Arizona. And I think that people think of State 48 and just think the logo or the co-branded logo. They don't necessarily think we can do anything more than that or that we want to, but we can. And so we've had, a lot of different larger organizations in the state work with us on their custom projects. Two that I'll mention are AMR, so American Medical Response, and the Arizona Humane Society. Like, they started just working with us on collabs, but now we're providing uniforms for them and different swag items for them, for their entire team, for them to sell. And like, those are two really prominent organizations in Arizona. And we're like, think about what the possibilities could be if our other partners or a few more of those other organizations even entrusted us to work on their custom swag and apparel. Like, we could really like take over the state with everything to do with
Yeah.
the.
Well, and you just kind of touched on it, is the whole idea of trust. And then, I mean, obviously the narratives in the news and in the public as well as, a lot of people these days are taking pride in doing things in America and even take it one step further locally in Arizona, right? If you can support a local Arizona business, I mean, that's huge. Yeah, of course you could order shirts from China and hope that it works out the best, but a lot of the times things get screwed up. The shirts don't fit right. They're not stitched properly. So I think it says a lot that you guys are kind of seizing that opportunity that, hey, also, we build this trust, we do good work. Well, why not do more with us, right? And so capturing that's a really, I had no idea. So that's really, really cool.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what we want people to know us as. It's just someone they can trust with anything they need apparel wise. And you're right. Like, I think the supporting local initiative is like trending more now than ever. And I don't see that stopping anytime soon, right? Because I feel like there's so many more people trying to become an entrepreneur or start a business or have a side hustle these days than there ever was before. So it's like, I can say, like, I go to my friends for my hair. I go to my friends for a spray tan. If I'm buying a house, I'm using my real estate friends. Like,
Absolutely. Well, that being said, where can everybody find you, find State 48? Give a shout out plug for yourself so that we can support local here.
Yes, I mean, we are State 48, all spelled out. So we do not use the numbers on all social platforms. So that's on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever you can think of. We have an account on there, and it's just at State 48. My name's Chloe Cleveland. My Instagram account is just Chloe Cleveland because Chloe Cleveland was taken. So had to drop the E on that one. But I'm constantly posting about our business and, our processes and things that help drive the business forward. Like that's probably 99% of the content I share just because that's pretty much my life these days, which I love. So, I mean, we'd love for anyone, to follow us along, follow our journey. Like supporting local businesses isn't just about spending money with them. It's about giving them a review or leaving, a good comment or watching their content. Like that's stuff that means more to us than anything. So, it really goes a long way when we've just got people supporting us, even if it's not necessarily with a purchase in a store.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I mean, it does nothing to, engage, comment, like just support people, especially like yourself and State 48. So, Chloe, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it. Hopefully we'll see you again here soon. And again, congrats on all the success with State 48. I think you guys have a killer organization and looking forward to a lot of good things to come.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Colin. You're awesome.
No problem. No problem. All right. We'll talk soon.
Okay.